Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Rendezvous Podcast. This is episode 3, the first episode on a Tuesday, which is our new weekly day. I'm here with Bodork and Bangovic, as always. How are you guys doing? You okay?
Doing fine.
Doing all right.
Yeah, nice.
Wonderful.
Okay,
Wonderful.
let's get right into it. Oh, Bo's got some cooking.
I've had a good day for the most part, but I'll be honest, some things that just don't go as expected. But yeah, good day. I only jinxed one game yesterday, so I am happy.
Classic Bo.
That's a positive.
Classic
That's a positive. Exactly.
Definitely. So, there's been some big news revealed today. Luckily, just before we recorded the podcast, and it is that 3 agents are coming this year. Which is that the most in a year? I don't know. Maybe not.
I think it's
Isn't it less?
I think they're slowing down a bit, and I like this aspect.
Okay. Yeah. But 3 agents this year, and then obviously some maps will come through. But the big news is that the first one's going to be an initiator, we think. The second one's going to be a sentinel, and the third one is an unknown role, which could hint at a new role. So, Bo, what are you kind of thinking? First of all, what do you think about the roles they've gone with for these agents? And also, what do you think this new role could be?
Yeah.
So to start off with the first role of an initiator, they kind of hinted at in the video about this agent having friends, which is surprising since it's a Valorant agent. But yeah, all right. But you could maybe see that this agent maybe has some sort of small bots or like animals that basically just go scout or maybe just go out and like checks corners or something like that. There's a lot of ways you could see it. It could also be like some sort of like movable turret or something. I don't know. They just introduce a turret from League of Legends or something. It could be possible. But it seems like it has at least something to do with an agent that basically controls different living things that basically just go around and support the team. Nothing really screams a flash initiator, so I'm going with it's gonna be a recon initiator, much like Fade and Sova. But maybe they'll add some sort of flash or something. But it sounds interesting, and I'm interested to see how it actually looks in reality. But yeah. And then the second one, a Sentinel. Could be anything, to be honest. Could be. I mean, we've had Chamber, which is basically just a passive duelist at this point.
Actually, true.
And maybe we'll see like a controller Sentinel, some sort of like short smoke that it has. If like there's a certain tripwire, it basically just brings up some sort of like smoke around the enemy or something. I don't know. Like, could be possible. So there was also like that concept about a tripwire that basically, if you walked over it, it would flash you. That could also be something that could be possible.
That would be. I can imagine so many people getting annoyed at that.
Yeah.
So annoyed.
Bang, like, you got any theories about the new role? What you think it could?
Yeah, about the new role, it's very like interesting to even consider a new role. I think it does make sense. I think so far, like all the roles we have can be already like differentiated in like 2 niches, like Flash Initiator, Recon Initiator. Then we have like Sentinels, like Chamber, who's like a passive duelist, and we have like the classic anchor, like Cypher. Like I think like Cypher and Killjoy are like this one niche, and then you have like Sage and Chamber, who can also be used in the battle way. Why is Bo doing this already? I have said one sentence and he's already like cooking something.
I have a theory.
All right.
Okay. I'm sorry to interrupt, but here it comes. All right. Sage isn't a sentinel. We learned
neither is Chamber
all the way back in the day.
But if Sage isn't a sentinel, what is she?
Support, basically. And I mean, you could basically just make a new role that's support that focuses on like supporting the teammates and like stalling certain like pushes, or maybe just supports a push or something. Like for example, the wall. Like you can't play Icebox without the wall. So maybe just an agent that like maybe has the same thing as Sage, just in a different way. So like some sort of blocking and a heal. and maybe another revive or something. I would say that would be too OP
Yeah,
because like then you
let
have
the
both Sage and another one, but maybe like a short revive, like your ult basically revives your teammate for like 10 15 seconds or something.
I mean, that could be the
So
ult, right? Like, where you just like ult and like I don't know,
yeah,
1 or 2 persons, they are just like having like 10 seconds where they can go ham again or whatever, and then like a Phoenix ult.
yeah.
Maybe that's too broken. I don't know. If like it's like a Phoenix ult, you can just.
I mean,
I mean,
if
I
it's
mean,
if it's
it's
like you could use it in different ways. Basically, you could
Mhm.
revive your teammate because he has an ability that they can use. And
Yeah.
like there's no like revive like animation like with Sage where you basically have some time to actually shoot them before they can actually start moving. And it's just like it focuses more on the ability rather than the gunplay.
Yeah, I mean that could be interesting. But this is actually where I wanted to go with my like thoughts on like how a new role could look like. I think it should be something supporting and like really supporting. Like I mean, like imagine like for example, a big downside of like Brimstone is like his range of the smokes. And imagine there's an agent which can like increase the range where Brimstone can smoke, making him in combination with this new agent more viable. That could be interesting. I mean, like just as a
I mean,
theory.
that would be too
Yeah.
OP, wouldn't you think so?
I mean, Riot has to think it through. Like, I'm not an agent designer, but I
Yeah.
just think the general idea of like giving like some buffs to like maybe utility or maybe like just generally to some sort of gunplay, similar to a stim beacon, like just something else but a stim beacon, but like just generally a kit which supports agents, like that would be interesting. And I think there's a good niche to do so. And
The new
also,
Mercy.
I mean, I would be like very like cautious with healings. I think already with Sky and Sage, like I don't know,
Yeah.
healing is always difficult to kind of balance. But yeah, I think a support agent, like a support role, a dedicated support role, which has a little bit of everything, right? Like for example, one ability to like I don't know help to get on side, one ability to stop a push, and one ability to like help your team. I don't know, like somewhat similar to like a Sage or I don't even know. Isn't there like more? I mean, KO also is like some sort of like a support agent who can do a bit of everything, right?
I mean,
I
it's
I mean,
basically just a
yeah.
it's basically just a more like teamwork dependent Phoenix actually.
Yeah,
I would say with
You could
KO.
like this is the thing. I feel like they could split. You know, this might sound odd, but I feel like Breach, KO, Sage. I'm trying to think if there's any more characters I'd put in that
I mean
could
even
be in a
Sky
support
perhaps.
class.
Sky as well, I think.
Yeah, even Sky, but then she kind of does have the info with the
True.
dog,
Yeah.
and the flashes tell you if somebody's blind, and the ult as well.
Mm.
About your point with like the ult that you can like run in and go ham. I feel like if they put another ult in the game
Yeah.
where you have to kill somebody twice, I feel like people would start getting annoyed because you already have Sage Res,
Yeah, true.
KO ult, and Phoenix ult, right?
Yeah. But if they
So yeah.
handle it in a good way, so
Yeah.
like for example, with my example, it's basically just like the first 5 seconds you can only use your abilities when you're revived, and then you can actually start shooting. But there's still a delay, but you could actually use. So it's more focused on you using your abilities to support your team when you're revived, and less about you actually shooting the enemy to like support.
It could also be like some sort of a global like Intel ultimate where like I don't know, similar to Cypher where like every player has a ghost he can move for like 3 seconds who's dead. Like you can just like summon a ghost from the dead body and they can move for 3 seconds and like I don't know, you can get info off of that. I don't know. There's like like a lot of things you can do around this like idea of like a support heavy ult similar to like maybe Cypher's ult or something, which is just giving intel and like helps the team in that way. I think there's a lot of way, but I like it. I hope actually it's a supporting role because like I don't know. Do you have anything in mind which could be added besides a support role, like a clear support role?
I don't think they're gonna add
Maybe
another
something in
duelist.
terms of mobility. So, like for example, a faster rotate, like an ultimate that basically helps you rotate faster. I don't know, like I'll just take an example from Overwatch, Symmetra TP.
Yeah,
Oh, with like the hex gates
like
in
a
like
team.
Yeah.
in the
Or
LoL
what?
League
What
of
if?
Legends.
What if like there's like you have like an ability that basically you put some like for example let's just call it spores. You lay them down in the rounds and they stay there the entire time. And then you can buy the utility and then you can like the next round you can like place stuff in those spores.
Oh my god.
It would be very
That's going
technical, but
crazy.
I mean, like, it would be cooking, and it would be good for eco rounds because then you have something else to do other than just trying your best to headshot somebody with a sheriff. So you can actually like lay a plan for like the next full buy.
I don't. The thing with eco rounds though, I don't think they're like super weighed. I actually think like in terms of bonus rounds and stuff, I don't think we need any more help for the team on a bonus or on an eco. Like I feel like the amount of swing at the moment, if anything, is a bit too much. Especially like those attacking bonus rounds. So I don't know, but I think a fully like support agent might be good. The only thing that I see with that is that they might think, okay, if we have a support agent, not only is people not going to want to play it in ranked very much because ranked is all about, getting kills or whatever. It's not all about that, but that's what a lot of people see it as. And also in pro play, if people are just supporting, if they're not putting up like huge numbers, but their util is really good, it doesn't necessarily show as much. So people who play that role, they might be underrated like a lot. But I think it would be interesting to see just a hardcore support because we don't really have that. I mean, obviously Sage is probably the closest thing.
If I can add one more thing to the support thing, and I don't know, something I want to see more, or like at least added once again, would be like a global movement or like mobility ability in terms of like the Sage wall can be boosted. You can boost your teammates basically, and something like a jump pad for your team or something. So you could accept like
jump pad. That would actually
like, I mean, that would be cool. Like on split or something, you can just like fast rotate. You throw the jump pad and you can go onto heaven like rafters just by throwing the jump pad. It shouldn't be like a global ability. It can be like quite expensive, but like this stuff like this would make more agents viable who are usually not picked because like I don't know, the movement creep is a thing. I just think like some movement abilities are needed. And if you have like a support agent who can just like give a Phoenix some sort of movement to make him more viable on certain maps, could be interesting.
You could also like do an ability like just like the jumping pad for like your teammates. It basically helps jump up, but for an enemy team, if you just lay it down, it will basically make their shot inaccurate. That would be something that they could do.
It jumps them up as well.
So you can literally just put it on corners, and you can just sit there and camp.
You just
because like they can't hit you.
You just throw it in post plans on the spike, and the guy flies into the air, and you just like a breach. Like I mean, okay, can be abused, but like I mean, generally this would be a cool thing. A thing I want to like ask you guys maybe like going back to the picture of this new agent with the phone call on the top left, beard, poppy. Like, do you have any ideas like the region this agent could be from? Like, if I take a look on the tiles and stuff, I get some like maybe Portuguese vibes, Spanish vibes, perhaps even Latin America. What do you guys think? Which region does drink a lot of bubble tea?
I am kind of in the. I kind of get like. Wait. 1 second, I'll just real quick see if this actually is cultural accurate.
Okay.
Before I say it.
I mean, maybe Command can hit his shot on like the potential region of that new agent.
The architecture in the tiles are giving me like Spain, maybe Colombia type.
I agree.
Vibes, but it's the bubble tea that's throwing me off.
But then there's beard poppy, like. Bubble tea and beard poppy. Like the poppy thing. Would someone say poppy? I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, there we go. Okay, so I was actually, when I look at this, the like architecture reminds me a lot of like that Disney movie Encanto. So I was like going with Colombia, and I wasn't sure if it was actually based in Colombia, but it is. So and like Poppy, that sounds like a very like Spanish Latin American. I believe
somebody's responded to the tweet that says Poppy is a colloquial term for dad in Spanish, but in many Spanish-speaking countries, particularly in the Caribbean, could be Cuba, Puerto Rico, and the Dominican Republic.
All right, we're close. I think then
Cuba could actually make sense, because like in the past, you actually saw a lot of times that like Riot does like to look at Overwatch and see which countries should we represent and everything. And I believe there's a hero in Overwatch from Cuba. Or I am wrong about that again.
It could be. But I think that like the bubble tea is still throwing me off though. I don't know, like
because we've got not Sombra. We've got Reina from Mexico and Raze from Brazil, but no Latam.
Okay. Yeah,
true.
So I think it would be really interesting to see.
Argentina is also possible.
From there. I don't know where they drink bubble tea in Latin
I
America.
mean,
But
bubble tea has just become international at this point.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah,
It's
good
probably
point.
placed there just to throw us off, and actually we should like pay attention to this like beer icon on top of the tea, right? Like
Yeah.
So probably it's something. I mean the beer, like the bear on the cap, it's 100% the icon for one of his abilities. I'm 100% sure.
Okay.
True.
Somebody said
Yeah, okay.
this is just Gen Z chamber.
Honestly,
that would be
low-key,
so funny. That would be
true.
amazing. I would love it. That would be so funny if they do something like that.
Yeah, that'd be jokes.
Actually, like the trousers make me actually feel kind of Cuba vibes because like they have like a lot of those vintage like cars still laying around there, and some people still wear like vintage clothing. And this kind of reminds me of like the mix that I've seen like young Cuban teenagers walk around when I was there, where they try to like mix the retro with the modern. So
Okay.
that's also
Okay.
possible.
So that's
My
the rendezvous
final
check.
guess.
Yeah.
My final guess is Colombia. I'm locking that in.
All right, let's do it. So let's go with the Cuba, Colombia. That's our guess. It's the rendezvous certified guess. Like we're gonna go with that.
Yep, I think so.
All right, and now I'm gonna add the
Yeah.
thing with the icon. I'm pretty sure whatever it is on this bubble tea, that's the icon for one of his abilities.
That would be super cool, actually.
Yeah, would be a cool way to
True.
leak it.
Okay, so this agent, who knows how they're going to fit into the meta, but at lock-in we have seen lots of it, lots of this new meta, particularly with the Harbor, the Viper, this double controller stuff, especially on Icebox, Pearl, things
Yeah.
like that. What's your guys, Bo? You can go for it if you want, because I know you've got
Yeah.
some strong opinions on the double controller stuff.
So I'm probably gonna start off with I asked this question to Termi, who when DRX was playing Icebox, they played a Viper and Harbor comp. And it worked. It worked actually really good. And I asked him about like this like comp, if like he thinks it's gonna be the next meta, much like what we had with Astra and Viper. And he kind of agreed, kind of disagreed. But he does find the value pretty big, especially on Icebox. But we've also seen it now on Pearl, and other people are now testing it out on a lot of other maps. I've even seen some people like cooking it up for like Lotus or something like that. So I am kind of feeling like we might be in the next meta, which reminds me a lot of the Astra Viper meta. But instead we have more walls and less smoke.
Yes, a lot of walls.
And on one hand, it looks really fun. But on the other hand, it looks really boring and really chaotic.
Yeah.
I mean, not boring, just chaotic as a whole, because like you have multiple walls you need to go through. I'm pretty sure like at one point, if we like get one more agent that like has a wall, you know what? Add Phoenix to it, add Astra to it, and just like make just lots of wall and just push in. Because like you can't flash it because you don't know if it's just some small cubby that your flash is gonna land in.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were. I mean, we were watching the games, and you were talking about the viewer experience,
Yes.
and I think that is something that they do really need to think about, because there were times when it was just like, especially on like Pearl B site, and it would just be like 2 Harbor walls, 2 Viper walls, Viper orb, Harbor orb, like an artist is just spamming through smokes and like happens to get a kill. And there was a lot of complaining about generally spams through smokes in that series yesterday between NRG and Loud. A lot from the NRG fans for some reason. But I think that does play a part into it, is the more smokes you have, then the more spams through smokes you're going to get, which seem, they seem a bit unfair and unlucky from a viewer perspective. So I don't know how this meta is going to turn out. And also, the amount of retakes that people are playing is just crazy. It seems like almost every round just devolves into a full-on like retake, like 5v5, or there'll be a pick at the start and it's 5v4 retake. And
I mean, you have a safer bet if you do that. That's the kind of thing. If you have if you have enough utility to do it, you should 100% do it because your win rate would be higher.
Yeah, it's I don't know how you would solve that. Do you like buff sentinels to make them like the traditional sentinels to make side tankers more like or better,
I
easier to?
I don't really think there is any buffs or nerfs necessary for that. I just feel like this is just the route Valorant will be going. That like every single time it gets planted, it's always retake, and it's not like contesting the site.
Mm,
And I'm kind of feel like this might be just the next norm because you can
Yeah.
still do it 100%, and few teams are still doing it, and still winning with it. But it seems just like most teams have become like a lot more passive in their defense rounds and are just wanting to like use more of their abilities to have a higher win rate.
I
yeah.
also think like just generally players and teams are getting way better in their usage of utility, and therefore like going for
Yeah.
a retake is the better way of just playing a post plan, just because like you're getting better, you're pushing the opponents off of corners, and that's like general way. The thing I just found on Reddit, I just remembered I could find it. Here it is. It's an interview from Loud Sadak, and he said like it's referring to the walls in the double controller meta, as he says, wall after wall after wall after wall. I pretty much didn't understand what was happening, and then the observer Sapphire just replied with same lol because of the viewing experience. Like, and I'm like, imagine being an observer trying to catch the action like in this Harbor Viper meta where there's just walls and smokes and everything's going on everywhere. Like, it's actually like the point you had, Command, with like the viewing experience, I actually agree. Like they got to think about that aspect, and but also like having this much utility and the Harbor. I think the Harbor is a perfect agent to play retake. Just to get back to the point, like he's just meant to do that. I feel like.
Yeah,
I mean,
with the like such impulsive wall that it allows you to do, like you can just go, okay, we're retaking, go. And if you with a Viper, if you don't have a retake wall set up, it's a lot like at the start of the round.
Yeah.
If you put it in the wrong place, that's just kind of it. But
something that I see a lot of is basically Harbor, basically just throwing the wall, then throwing the cove and defusing themselves, which I don't think is good, and it isn't good because we've seen it so many times that like they keep breaking it and keep killing the Harbor. What instead I feel like is probably like the most favorite way, and probably what Wright actually expected, is basically just the Harbor throwing the cove to his teammate, who then diffuses. Because like he can already start diffusing, he could throw the cove, and he can start pushing the wall and try to get a pick.
yeah,
it does make way more sense, as well as you can use the cove to cover your mate diffusing, and you can use your high tide or whatever to like also add another layer of like visual like something to
you can
block
also
the
delay.
vision and everything. There's a lot of like his utility is very good for this scenario in particular.
It's at least really good to delay like anything, a push or like a retake.
So, another agent which you go on, comment. Another agent which gets a lot of like attention or like just picks in general is Skye. Even though there was no buff or anything, like Skye, I mean, like on Pearl, we've seen her a lot. We've seen her on Split a lot. Perhaps it's because of the maps. The maps are like that, or like I feel like also Skye offers a kit which is good if you play against the Harbor. But like generally the pick rate of Skye is definitely higher than it used to be.
So why I think this is the reason, and it's probably the big reason why, is because Skye offers two of both worlds. Firstly, she has a flash, but that flash is also a type of recon. So you can now add another controller without like messing up other parts of your comp. You can basically just use Skye as a control, as like a recon agent, and also as a flash agent.
Yeah.
So and that's why
before you used to have like Sova and KO or Fade and KO, and then but Skye allows you to just have Skye, and then you can still have your duelist, site anchor, and double controller. So it makes sense. I wonder if they'll add this next one. I wonder if they'll have flashes as well to try and capitalize on that niche that Skye has right now.
Oh, interesting.
We'll have to see.
I just opened up the agent pick rates for this tournament, and Killjoy is the highest picked agent, And surprisingly, Sky's on 29% over Fade, which is actually very interesting and like from the initiator side of thing.
Fade hasn't been that good, I'll be honest. Like her her recon ability, basically the one that's like spots people, it's very easy to destroy. And since we aren't really allowed to like make those insane lineups for Fade, where it's nearly impossible to actually spot the Fade ability, it's basically just too easy to break it. Which is, and like the Sova dart is way smaller, so it's a little bit harder to shoot or spot.
Yeah, maybe they should think about changing the size of that, just the general orb bit that you shoot at. That might, bring it back into relevance a bit.
But also like the sound effect, I would say, because like it already starts making like loud noises before it even like plants and starts like spotting players.
Yeah, that's a good point actually.
So it's the same issue we have with Euro, of course. Like it's supposed to be a lurking duelist, yet it still has a pretty high sound when it teleports. It works when you fake it, but like then again, if you're actually lurking, they still know you're lurking because they heard it.
I still think Yoru has the potential to be exploited a bit more though, because he's one of the only agents in the game where you can never really trust what you hear.
Yeah,
that's true.
Even if you hear footsteps, it could just be the clone. You hear a TP, it's a 50-50 chance of whether they've teleported or not.
Yeah.
You know. Whereas if you hear footsteps from another agent, you know where they are. You know.
Yeah. We're supposed to keep this episode short, so we're gonna like jump over to the next topic.
Sure thing.
But before that, I'll just put this last thing in mind. I think Yoru is gonna have his own meta where he's gonna be overpowered as hell. And it just depends on the next couple of agents. So if the next couple of agents actually supplement Yoru and like actually help him in some ways, I'm pretty sure we're gonna have a Yoru meta. So because like they keep buffing him and there isn't like a lot of nerfing to him.
Right.
So it's just a power creep at this point. I'm kind of scared of.
All right. Like you said, episode short, they say. The next topic is a slight lock-in recap of the matches that we've seen over the past few days. Obviously, we had an episode that came out a few days ago, so not much in terms of actual matches has happened, but in terms of the actual bracket, a lot has happened.
Yeah.
Yesterday we saw NRG lose to Loud in what I think is probably the best of 3 in Valorant history. It's up for debate, but it's definitely up there.
Definitely.
And
we also had like, I believe we recorded this before the match against like Loud and Carmen Corp.
Oh, okay.
So we actually still have a bunch of matches that we have missed to cover. I'll probably start with NRG and Giants. Overall, I was a fan of what Giants did. There were some issues here and there, and it was kind of funny to watch Pipson absolutely like he was booming over at the coach corner. He was absolutely booming. And yeah, I just feel like the Lotus pick was the only reason why they actually won map against NRG, because the other ones they were just dominant.
13-1, that is a bit crazy.
Yeah. And it's okay, I'll just start off with like the comp here. This comp is absolutely boring. This is not a Lotus comp I want to see again. It's boring and it won't work next time.
Of which
Giants?
Both teams. I mean, like putting in the Omen, then a Sova, then a Killjoy, then a Sky. Anyways, it's just too boring. I want to see more experimental stuff, and that's what everybody starts using. And like overall, Chamber might actually be viable.
Yeah, that's true.
On Lotus,
we saw it twice.
He has value, and you can basically like you can use your TP to like basically just push different places and then TP to a secure place, which you can't really do on other maps.
Yeah, that's true.
Who was playing it for
in the Cloud9 match? The Paper X. Who was playing for Paper X? Was it Forsaken?
I believe it was Forsaken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah.
I do think there's a lot of potential to like just experiment on this map. So don't go with the boring comms, please. We want to see something new. We want to see something fun. And the fun thing actually worked. So
I think it does say something that no team that picked Lotus won it at this event.
Yeah, that's true.
Every team that picked it just lost. So
yeah,
I think it was just complete unknown. And even though teams had prepared on it, I don't think they wanted to really pick it into people. At
yeah.
least the teams that had prepared the most. The teams that did, I feel like, are the teams that went, "Oh, we'll see if we can, take a map off them by picking Lotus."
Yeah.
Which I was surprised that NRG did, to be honest, against
Me
Giants.
too.
But yeah, I thought they'd
think
go
it's
something more
maybe
standard.
just to surprise them. I'm pretty. I haven't at least like heard a lot about Giants trying out Lotus, so
It also
Yeah,
was like, I don't know, Lotus was also down to
They
a
were
big
also-
heroic of like Vitinho. Like he was dropping like 382 ACS. I don't know how the map would have looked if he wouldn't have gotten like absolute insane.
Yeah.
Would have been maybe in the favor of NRG. So it was, I mean, it was overtime, right? For 14-12.
yeah,
So,
crazy rounds at the end of regulation, but
yeah.
Giants managed
Next
to
up,
take that
Yeah.
one.
Next up, we can look at Loud versus Carmine Corp. I actually, okay, so not a fan of Carmine Corp. How they work with like the whole Scream IGL and
I'm
duelist
just not a
comp.
fan. I'm just not a fan.
Yeah,
of-
I mean they got actually pretty far against Loud. They actually got some like promising rounds, but that was actually mostly just Nevera. Nevera was just absolutely popping off.
Yeah, world class
I think-
performance.
And
I think there's a thing in Valorant where if teams play scrappy Valorant, you kind of have to match them.
Yeah.
And then in a way, it comes down to the individual skill level where Loud won that battle, but Carmine Corp like almost dragged them down to that level of just brawling it out. And I think that we'll get to it, but the same thing happened in the DRX Talon series where
Mhm.
in some rounds it was so chaotic that DRX just had to submit basically to whatever Talon were throwing at them and just brawl it out, which is I think why Talon kind of won that first map. But going back to this series, Loud, their individuals are just so good. They're like they have good strats and they have incredible individuals. Les has been playing incredibly these past 2 games. So huge props to him.
Honestly, I may be the only person on earth with that opinion, but I do think that Scream's IGLing wasn't as bad as I expected it. I think it was okay for the most parts, but honestly, my biggest issue with Scream IGLing is the fact that he's way too good of a fragger to put him on that role. Like this is just my takeaway from that. Like he's just one of the best duelists, and I want to see him as such. And like having like K Corp running no duelist for like 5 out of 6 maps, or like 3 out of 4 maps. It's just, I don't know. I just don't like that aspect. So I don't know. I think Scream needs at least a shot caller. Someone has to like assist him in that way, or he should be the shot caller and someone else should IGL mainly, so he can like put some weight off his shoulders. It was shown in that series, but also against FPX. I think like I just want to see him frag. I don't know. I'm not convinced on his initiator. Like I don't know.
There's also, I mean, like his KO looks to be one of the worst at this tournament. I'll be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you look back at the VOD, I saw at least 2 times where he basically whiffed his knife at the start of a round, where it basically just flew out of the map. So I'm kind of like, I'm not sure if like the Scream KO is gonna stay. If it is, he needs to step up on it.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm gonna say though, like generally, I think K Corp impressed me more than I thought they would. I am not saying they're like the top contender for EMEA, but I don't
solid
know.
Top 6.
It's a solid top 6 team for sure. I think actually with some changes, I don't know which changes like in particular, but I think if they do some changes, they could perhaps challenge something. I'm not saying top 3; they just look too stacked, but I don't know if XMS
maybe
stops pushing on split.
Yeah, they could maybe go for like a small, like there's a small chance for like top 4.
Yeah, I think it's not out of the realm. Let's put it this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Talent is
Next
there.
up, ERX versus Cloud9. Oh man, this was a fun match.
Hell yeah.
This was fun.
It was fun, but also it was like there were just stomps. Like
Yeah,
true.
true.
It was just like Cloud9 had no idea how to like break a 9-3 curse.
it was like quote unquote a close series, but because it was a 2-1, but it wasn't really.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
wasn't really.
Cloud9 looked
Yeah.
great on Pearl with this
Yeah.
Phoenix, just hitting some incredible shots. And when they look good, they look really good. But then they got into Haven and it just kind of fell apart.
Mhm.
Like the Phoenix
yeah.
didn't work at all.
No.
And that's like the thing that
Mm.
I
You feel
saw
so?
a lot of.
On Haven,
On Haven. What
On
I
Haven, yeah,
saw
okay.
a lot from is basically just DRX focusing on the orbs because they knew that Celsius was gonna focus those orbs.
yeah.
Yeah, and especially I feel like on Haven, especially taking the orbs is like always such a risky thing because the C
Yeah.
orb and the A orb, like both of them are just like these are like highly contested areas. Like the A lobby is
Pearl-
always like A lobby is always contested,
Yeah.
and C is hard to take just generally.
For Pearl, it's easier, and I'll just
Mhm.
put quotations on that, easier, but it's still way more viable than on Haven because like you could basically just insta peek something and like hit the enemy team. You can't attack, you can't defend, and try to focus on orbs for this map.
Mm. It almost seemed like DRX saw the Phoenix on Pearl, went, okay, fine. It looks really good on Pearl. We've downloaded you for the next map. You're not doing anything on Haven. Especially on their attacking half. I mean, it was a 9-3, but it looked like it could have been a 12-0. DRX were just like absolutely just destroying them.
Yeah.
And then I don't not understand what this like switching the killjoy around between every single player on the team that NA teams seem to have to do. But
Same thing
like
with
you got
NRG,
Vanity on it on this last map. Yeah, NRG had four different killjoy players in 4 maps. Like
Yeah.
what? What? Like at most
Yeah.
you should have like 3, but preferably like 2. You know.
Yeah.
Like Zeus, because they've had Zeus's, Vanity, and Leaf play the killjoy. It just their icebox just fell apart, and it was good to see DRX playing good Valorant.
Yeah, I love this Harbor Viper comp on Icebox. I'll be honest, it's so fun.
Yeah, and it's nice to see Stacks playing it as well because you know, we've seen him as like I see him as the perfect balance between gunplay and utility. Like, and he's IGLing it.
Wow,
it's really great to see. I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
So yeah, DRX looked really good. And then the final match of this like column of the bracket was Talon versus EG. Honestly, W Talon. They're just
W Talon.
They're just a W team. Like content game on point and their actual game on point as well.
Yeah,
2
but
comebacks
also,
made it hype. You know.
I was questioning a lot of rounds from EG, and especially at the end on Split, like when the lurk didn't work and they kept trying it.
Did you see the press conference as well where BCJ just said like, "I'm not here to leak strats and stuff." Like,
that wasn't. I mean, like that was a strat, sure, but like when a strat doesn't work, you don't use it.
Yeah, you're not just.
It was like, it's our game plan. We stick to it even if it's not necessarily working. And it's like, I just didn't really get it.
Yeah, it was a confusing match, and like Talon did an amazing job at just countering everything that like they came up with.
Their 2 halves were 10-2 and 9-2 on both on the second half of both maps. Like, it seems almost that Talon are playing attack on the defense. The way they switch up their setups and stuff, it's like it's almost as if they're playing attack, but and Garnets and Jit Boys, they're the goats, bro.
Well, I gotta say, like, this is the tournament of the new pickups, and especially Garnets and Jit Boys, like, just generally, like, all the new pickups on Loud as well, like, what we have seen, like, I don't know what it is, but, like, all the pickups, like, they're just farming, I don't know, amazing.
They're here to prove themselves.
Yeah, that's they are, and they do, like, Garnets, I don't know, I did not see a world where I was like, Talon without Patipan, they cannot reach the same height. I was wrong, and I'm happy to say so. Like, I don't know, I was thinking, like, Patipan is the truth. But Garnets, oh my god, he was a ranked demon, he was a demon in APAC, and now he's a demon on LAN. I'm all in for it. Talon was just fun to watch, just W gaming. It's literally what you want to do if you play the game, but you can't do it because you, like, I don't know, we lack the mechanical skill.
Now I am kind of scared about Seda qualifying for Masters Tokyo. I feel like chances might be
not
lower.
gonna be there.
I was hoping that they might have like slid in like a snake, but now I'm just kind of like, ooh, it's gonna be tough.
I don't think we can necessarily say anything until we've seen ZT play.
Yeah,
if they
true,
look really
true.
good, because let's not forget in Champions they just played Loud twice. Like, okay,
yeah, true.
Which was unfortunate, but
yeah.
I don't. We'll have to see how they look. But in terms of talent, it's like I fear for Paper X is who I worry for. You know, they didn't change anything, and they just looked. Obviously, Cloud9 is a difficult matchup, but they didn't even look competitive in that series, to be honest. And Talon looked more than competitive, even against DRX, who, you know, looked really good previously. So, yeah, Talon, great team. Also, what do they do about Patapan at this point?
I mean, if
do they just sub him back in for Garnets,
I guess so. Like, it really depends on how he will just perform. Maybe he'll just be like the 6th man who does content for them. Because I don't see him returning to Overwatch since it's just a mess. Like, everybody is just wanting to retire. I've had multiple pro players ask me if there are any offers in Valorant. So it's really tough there. So I don't expect him going anywhere other than maybe joining a team in Challengers or something. He could maybe get a deal with Xersha where he's on loan while the others are competing. Could be possible. So, but we'll see.
I mean, also it's a question if Garnets can keep that up. Like, I don't know, this height, like the level of play he showed, like amazing. But I mean, can he do it on multiple lands? Patipan could. I don't know, Garnets. We will see.
Yeah.
But having this, like,
that's the thing.
Yeah, I think
Patipan has proven himself in 2 different esports, and he came back to the other esport and proved it again.
Yeah,
so,
this
like,
guy.
You're kind of like, okay, I submit.
Yeah,
it's
Taylor looking very promising. Right, shall we move on to the semifinals quickly? Just quick overview on the Loud versus Energy, like Command you already said. One of the best of threes, and I think it was one of the best of threes. I would put it up there with the M3C versus Gambit Insanity overtime match for the qualification. Like, these are my 2 best of threes, like my best and the best of my book. But yeah, it was amazing.
I'd throw Crew versus Gambit in their Champions.
Oh yeah, with the Chronicle clutch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was screaming so loud. Oh my god, my landlord wanted to kick me out, I think. But like, that was an amazing series. But the Energy versus Loud game was a banger. Honestly, okay, the first map we just skip it. The 3-13 never happened. But Pearl and Fracture 2 times overtime, and it had everything. It had clutches. It had mess. It had like the messy plays. It has like RNGesus, like, I don't know, like just being fully stunned and some getting killed, and I don't know, like, just generally this game had everything you wanted, and also like a very loud crowd. It was so fun to watch. I don't know, amazing. And for me, the moment of the game was the Kwanzin clutch to bring it into the OT on Fracture.
Oh, bro. I was actually
it's those moments, because I was fully supporting Loud by the end. And it's those moments where your heart is in the grave, and because you feel like they've just lost, and then it gets pulled out with like just miracle work from Kwanzin, and you realize this guy is so young. He's like 18 years old, and like
it was a 1v3, wasn't it?
But the same thing,
pretty much,
with NRG, like they really brought it back, and like I was already ready to make it like the airport updates, I was so close to posting it, and then like artists suddenly decided, all right, I don't need to like stand still to aim. I'll just headshot somebody through the smoke.
Trigger bot.
Artists really like saved during like Pearl.
On
like,
Pearl,
the small value that he suddenly brought was amazing. Because at the start, you were kind of questioning Artis's race, but his gunplay was just saving those rounds, actually. And then Fracture, sadly,
I was so happy when Loud won. I think this match had everything that it needed to be a great game, and then it also was just an incredible game. You know, you have the storyline of the rivalry, the crowd, like the new guys coming in from Loud, and also, you know, Salmon Energy and Artists, seeing how he fits in, and also Crashies. I mean, this guy is crazy good. He's been way underrated for way too long. For me, he's like a better Jonah P. And you know how highly I rate Jonah P. As a guard fan. He's so flexible. I mean, he's played KO and Breach in this series, and so many other things, of course, before. Yeah, just crazy, especially on
Yeah.
that last map.
Yeah,
I agree.
the most disappointing one was probably Victor, especially on Fracture. He
I
did some
think there
questionable plays.
there was a lot of times where he was just getting shot through a smoke, and I felt
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
bad. And what that
But-
can do to your mental is like,
Yeah, true.
so I do get it. But 2Es as well, another highlight for me. And less, they
Yeah.
were just all popping off at random times, and it was so great to watch. It's like usually in a Valorant series, it's like you're on the emotional roller coaster from round to round, but this was like in between rounds. Any
Yeah.
kill like was so heart wrenching. It was just especially at the end of Fracture, it was just great.
It was, yeah. Overall, I think, yeah, as you said, it was one of the best of threes in the history, and definitely the best game we have seen in this tournament so far. Maybe, perhaps, will be the best match we will see. I don't know. It's hard to beat, honestly.
Yeah.
Very, especially with the storylines coming in with the rivalry and everything. Yeah, it's very hard to beat. And the Pansy and Hypot casting duo.
Yeah.
Man, perfect. Okay, let's move on to the final game of the Alpha bracket. DRX versus Talon. An expected result, I think, from many, but not in the expected way.
I haven't watched the match yet. I watched small glimpses of it. Hey, I had classes today very early on, so I needed to sleep, to be honest. I'm sorry.
I love how you haven't seen it, but you're still like going to talk about it.
I like the fact that when I go to bed, my jinxes don't work. Like I've jinxed NRG, but I haven't jinxed DRX.
Maybe you single-handedly don't have any power over the results of international Valorant games. Maybe
that may be true. That may be true, but like, let me have my moment, please. I beg of you.
But yeah, come on, can you sum it up? You've watched it, so you can sum it up, right?
Yeah. Fracture was DRX were like they went 2-0 up, they go 4-2 up. You're like, okay, they just look really good. But as I said before, Talon seemed to be able to bring DRX back down to that level of just brawling. Yeah. But they also did have some it was like structured chaos. Some of the rounds just were absolutely insane. But it was Garnet's, Foxy's, and especially Sushi Boys, and some of the moments from Cruz as well. All of them can pop off at any moment. Yes. And going into, they won Fracture, it was great. And then they get the 6-6 half on Ascent, and you're like, well, actually, they went up. They went up 6-4, and you're like,
yeah,
if they get the 8-4 here, this, they could close this out 2-0. But DRX eventually regain control.
The steamroll.
Yeah, it was the DRX Ascent defense that we've seen so many times.
Yeah, unbreakable.
I remember the one time it was severely broken was Leviathan. They went 11-1 up on the attack, and it was just like crazy. But yeah, DRX, they regained control, and Icebox was close actually. Talon had good answers to the harbor, but they just couldn't, pull out one of their miracle comebacks. I mean, it was 10-10. With Talon had won the previous 2 rounds, and you thought, wait, hang on, this could be another huge overtime. But Marco.
Yeah, Marco.
I don't know how he does it.
I don't know. He clutched everything he had to clutch. He clutched everything he shouldn't clutch. I don't know. It was just, I don't know. He was the difference maker for that. On that map in particular, Marco was unstoppable. And also the Harbor Viper, the usage from both teams, but especially from DRX on this Icebox map. That was, if someone wants to VOD review to understand how Viper and Harbor works, just watch DRX. It was perfect. Like the most perfect example of Viper Harbor I've seen to date.
Oh, my
lights out. All good, you can turn it on. But yeah, great series. DRX the deserved winner, I would say. But Talon put up a fight, and
I'm so happy that Talon did put up a fight.
Yes,
well,
me too.
Because it means that the Pacific League is going to be competitive.
Yes.
We've seen good stuff from DRX, obviously. We've seen good stuff from Genji. We've seen good stuff from Talon. And PaperX, I'm sure, will bounce back. I hope so.
Might we actually see like a representative from nearly every single region? I mean, like we have from America,
Edward Gaming.
We have DRX
potentially.
I think if we got Loud DRX and like, and then an
Na'Vi.
EMEA team and an NA team, I think it would be perfect.
Yeah.
Maybe Na'Vi or
Yeah.
Liquid, I think are the obvious choices there. And then you had, it's either going to be Sentinels or 100 Thieves.
But what
Probably
about
more likely to be
Eduardo?
100 Thieves. Oh,
Yeah,
that
I
would,
mean,
Eduardo.
if it was EMEA in China, that would just be goated. But they'd have to be 100 Thieves, then RRQ or Foot, and
I
then
mean,
Sentinels or Fnatic. I just don't see it happening, unfortunately.
I love 100 Thieves, but I have a feeling. And like, it's always the Jinx feeling. I hate it.
Kang.
Kang goes. I mean, like,
I mean,
he was
potentially,
stuck.
yeah.
He was stuck in a toilet for a while. So
I saw that tweet. I saw that he
Yeah,
couldn't
I
open
saw
the
that.
he
handle.
was
Like,
locked up over at the toilet.
I think
early
my favorite
attempts
thing
by
about
100 Thieves.
my favorite thing about Edward is the name of the player Nobody, because then you can say Nobody was the highest rated player in this series, and it just makes me laugh. But I know what you mean. They definitely could do it. Whether they will, I'm not quite sure. But while we're talking about it, let's move on to the next topic, which is slightly quicker than we were thinking we were going to do it. Omega bracket review. Starting with the match on Wednesday is Team Liquid versus Team Secret, the battle of the teams. Who have you guys got winning this one? Bangovic,
Who's
what
going
you?
to win, the Liquid or the Secret?
Don't start this again, Bangovic. I know
I'm
who
the
you're
biggest.
supporting.
I'm the biggest Liquid fanboy. I would go with them, even though if they're against like the Titans, I don't care. Liquid 2-0ing that. But I honestly, like, just for the sake of my heart, I don't even want it to be a close series. I just want 2 stomps, just so I can chill for, like, I don't know. I'm so invested in that matches, like, of my favorite teams. I just want to stomp. Yeah, I'm going with Liquid. Bro, you can cook as much as you want. Liquid gonna win this. Did you see Redgar? He's so handsome, bro. He's gonna win that.
Okay.
That smile, you can't deny that smile.
I'll come with. Okay, there has been talks.
Oh, come
not in the streets
on,
because that's already okay. Hear me out. And there isn't any talks in the street because that's copyrighted. But there are talks in I don't know, like
the shadows.
There are rumors in school.
Oh, shit.
That's even worse, actually.
That's even worse. But just keep
the school rumors are here, and that's
okay.
And like most of the time, it's actually not true and anything. So like it actually fits pretty good. But apparently,
do not tell me that Secret are like 24 owing scrims or something. Do not.
No, that not. But apparently, they look pretty good. They look pretty good. Like they are losing stuff here and there, but like people have said, they have actually like structure apparently. So I'm kind of like feeling that they might take a map. But
if Secret take a map, I think that would be great.
Yeah.
And another good sign for the Pacific League, but I don't want Secret to win because I'm also a Liquid. I'm a Nat Sim, but in fact I'm a Nat Sim.
Yeah, I mean, like I'll also go with Team Liquid because my man Emil is there, so gotta
honestly,
go with it.
And also like just for the entire storyline, like EMA didn't look the best in the alpha bracket, and this bracket in particular with Na'Vi, Liquid, and Vitality in one side, like one of those teams must get through just to, like, I don't know. Like just keep EMEA high, because right now everyone is like EMEA sucks and we need like one of those teams to get through, in my opinion.
I mean, like it would be bad if like Team Secret won the first map.
Imagine Na'Vi.
Can you imagine?
Oh my god.
First
impressions.
Can you
imagine if Secret and Crew won that match? Can you imagine the hate EMEA would get?
Do not say this. Do not say this. I'm going to clip this and I'm going to say you jinxed it. All right, I'm not the one who jinxes.
Axedi on Crew just drops 40 on the Omen. Imagine. Yeah.
Don't bring it to reality.
But Liquid, I think are the clear favorites there.
Yeah.
And again in the next match as well, the only team made up of every player has won a Masters or a title. Na'Vi, I think. If they don't get to at least the semis, well, actually, it depends how good Liquid look, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Here's the kind of thing that I'm kind of scared of for Na'Vi. And like I want Na'Vi 100% to win. I'm like I have Na'Vi winning next to like maybe DRX. It's between those two for me. But here's what I'm kind of scared of. The loss of like of artists. Because CNET is a very quiet person, as far as I know. And like if you watch the videos and everything, he's really quiet. And I don't know if he's also very quiet when he communicates. I believe there were some like communication videos from Ascend back in the day, where I didn't really hear a lot from CNET. And Artis seems like an extremely vocal guy, so I don't know.
Maybe even too vocal.
How the vibe of the team is going to be if like they start losing rounds. If there's somebody who can like bring them back up again, I believe maybe Xiao. He's a little bit of a troll. So
I feel like Xiao and Sugetsu will step up in that department if they need to, because I feel like Sugetsu also, he has a bit of jokes and
can
stuff
say
on
some
stage.
stupid things out of nowhere, and it's so funny.
But I think it will be on Angel to kind of, just
but
make
honestly,
sure that everybody's on the right track. But he's proven it.
If that would have been too much of an issue, we would have seen glimpses of it at like the G-Loot clash, right? But like I think Na'Vi looked
kind of saw it.
I don't know, man. CNET was
look
revenue
at the
to the team.
Match.
I mean, of course, the Parla match, it was scrappy, but it was still like almost 3 months ago. Na'Vi had like CNET was just arriving there and like no boot camps. Now they boot camped and everything. I think they had enough time to like iron those things out. And I think I saw a lot, like also like at this G-Loot clash, I don't know, they had some cuckoo comms. Like I think people, I don't know, who was running the jet? Was it Art? I don't know. They did some crazy stuff. Like, I don't know.
Sugetsu was playing Chamber. I don't think, I really don't think we can rate this tournament that highly, to be honest.
Chamber.
They were just going
on Reina, man.
Yeah, they were doing all the crazy stuff and still won the tournament. So I kind of feel like, okay, if they're comfortable, like, or they can win matches, even though it's not the most, like, the highest stakes of a tournament, they still won it. They still had a lot of practice. And now there's like 2 months or almost 3 until they play their first match. There's a lot of time to work on things. And I think, I don't know. I'm not worried for this match. I may jinx it, but I feel like Na'Vi should have that one.
Also, the most picked agent in the tournament, Killjoy, and Na'Vi have probably the best Killjoy player in the world. So, for me, it's like, if Sugetsu is performing at the same level...
Best Sentinel.
Probably,
because Nats is, but especially because Nats isn't a Killjoy player. Well, not traditionally. He might be now, but
who knows?
But I think if Sugetsu's playing at the same level, which I see no huge reason why he wouldn't be, I feel like they got this series.
Yeah, definitely. Next up, Zeta Division versus Leviathan.
I saw your Pickems on Twitter earlier, Bo, and I noticed that you've been Zeta pilled. And I predicted this in, I think, the first episode, that Zeta would upset Leviathan, and I want it to happen, so I'm printing Zeta.
I feel like there is potential for Zeta to win versus Leviathan.
It's funny because people say like, oh, Mazzino's so good. This, like, Laz and Sugar Zero, these guys are not to be underestimated. Like, Sugar Zero especially. The IQ on this guy when he plays controller, like, all you need to watch that 3v1. I can't remember what tournament it was at, but at Champions, he got a 1v3, and he just, like, the brain, how quick he is with Astra especially. I think that he could be, like, come alive again at this tournament if they win this match.
I'm kind of scared of like the performance of the rest. Like Laz and Sugar Zero, they kind of felt like in the off season that they were just carrying dead weight. So I'm kind of scared of how Zeta is going to perform.
I think a lot of it rests on 10 actually, because Reykjavik, he was actually one of their most impactful players. He would just find kills out of nowhere. You just get timings. Yeah.
Maybe they could do something else. They bring in Barcy.
They don't take specialist.
They don't take like Sugar Zero off the smokes. They just add another smoker. And you want to know what? They win it.
They play Harbor Viper everywhere.
Because Barcy. That's the only reason.
What if Bars is now a Harbor specialist and he just plays Harbor every map? That would be jokes.
Actually, locally, it could work.
But also, I say Zeta not to be underestimated, but Leviathan's roster is also cracked. King is one of the best IGLs, in my opinion. Well, one of the best fragging IGLs in the Americas region, if not, more. But we'll have to see what they do with Kesnit and Taco. But
as far as I know, I think Kesnit is the 6th man for this tournament.
Okay.
going into the tournament.
I wouldn't be surprised if Kesnet suddenly gets fielded in.
It could be a surprise factor as well. I mean, it doesn't even matter to me. Like Takulia and Kesnet are both players who have proven to be very good players, and like they have the caliber to play against a team like Zeta. On paper, I think Leviathan is the favorite team, but I don't even know. It's the first LAN match, but I don't know. For me, it's a really like pretty much a 50-50. So, but guys, shall we go like by this pace of the Pickems, because we basically did a Pickems. Like maybe we can just like sum some of the impressions up, because we did the entire Pickems already, didn't we?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, we did. So. But maybe our minds changed. I don't know.
I don't know who we predicted for this next one last time.
You predicted Global Esports.
Yeah,
we predicted Vitality.
No, I'm joking. But I think they do have a shot.
Yeah, I mean, they win the content game.
They lost Bronski. They lost Bronski.
Yeah, they did. They
have Ozzy, who either is a god or is just like down in the mud, like 20 kilometers down.
20 kilometers down.
Yeah, I mean, like you can really see the change in him. Like,
what are you talking about, like Scrimbucks or what?
No, like Bossy, like in officials when he played for what was it called? I forgot the name of that.
Damon? No.
Onslayers, that was it.
Onslayers. Okay.
When he played for Onslayers, there were rounds where he looked like the best jet in the world, and then out of nowhere, he just starts looking like some sort of. He basically looked like Prod at some moments.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I mean, which version of Prod?
There are basically 80% of the time, Prod just ints.
Yeah, okay.
And the small 20% he like gets highlights and like makes insane clips, but like I'm kind of scared. That's kind of my
I don't know if this is GE's time. But I like what they've done with the project, and I hope it works out in the long term.
I agree. And also, like, I want to throw one thing in. Twistin has said that he's gonna like donate 25 euros for every shorty kill, and there have been so many shorty kills, so this guy is running out of money probably. So he must win this tournament.
I actually forgot about that.
He actually must win this tournament, I think, to even like donate. Like, I don't know, like he's already like on like I don't know how many shorty kills there've been, but like it's adding up, and he needs the prize money. So he's like personally a little bit more invested than other players, I feel like. So Twistin gonna drop.
He's gonna drop Team Vitality is in debt. A lot of it.
I just like Twistin just dropping 30 just so he can pay off his debt. I don't know. I'm just joking, but like I think probably like with a player not being able to attend the tournament and everything, I would still slightly favor Team Vitality. But honestly, the content game, I give it to GE. The content game is on point so far. I like it.
Yeah, the content game is great. They're like shorts and stuff.
Yeah,
they're brilliant.
I love it. Foot RRQ. I don't even know what to say about Foot versus RRQ. The thing is also like I have no footage of any of those teams. I cannot rate any of those. This is just like I don't know. I have no information. But okay, Foot didn't look good. That's the only thing I know.
I think RRQ have looked less than Foot have. So I'm inclined to go with RRQ. That's my reasoning.
Okay.
They've looked.
Foot,
although they did
lose. Team, RRQ looks like an upset team, a gatekeeper.
Okay,
that's say that, but they did also lose to Full Sense.
Yeah.
Oh, they lost to Heretics. That puts them down. No, I'm joking. I don't know.
Also that.
But triple controller comp. So I give him the slack for that one.
I'm kind of in a vibe that RRQ could easily win this.
Let's give it to RRQ.
But that's what worries me is like those triple controller comps. Like we can say that it's a Mickey Mouse one, they're probably just trying stuff out, but like for them, that's not a Mickey Mouse tournament. That's like the chance to prove themselves, but they just didn't.
I mean, like, why prove yourself in like an off-season event when you could prove yourself at the event?
That is
okay. That is goofy logic.
At least it has some logic. Yeah, RQ goes through. Let's go on.
100 Thieves versus Eduardo.
We predicted 100 Thieves last time, didn't we? By the skin of our teeth. I'm the same as last time. I think 100 Thieves will probably take this comfortably, but I have a little bit of stock in Edward.
I can smell a jinx.
You
Once
said
again,
you
Bo
cannot.
thinks he is
Yeah,
single-handedly
chick.
responsible for.
I want to pred 100 Thieves, and I'm going to pred 100 Thieves, but like, goddamn, I really feel like we've been overhyping 100 Thieves too much. I'm scared.
Have we?
Yes,
I think they could look.
everybody is hyping up 100 Thieves to
Yeah, but
win
I
it all.
Oh,
think
I
they
think I'm
look
the most critical
great.
one. I mean, they look
Yeah,
great,
Bangs,
right?
you are
I'm the
very-
most critical of 100 Thieves, 100%. Like, I don't know. Like, I think, yeah, they look great, but also they look great because just of all the circumstances. They slotted in Cryo, like, in a team which was working already. Like, it was a well-oiled machine where you just implement one of the best players in the world. Of course, it's going to work. Similar, a little bit similar to Navi, but not as drastically. And they played against teams which were rather new. We still saw like the same issues, like some of the same issues we saw of Cloud9 at Red Bull. We saw them in this tournament. So I don't know. I think 100 Thieves just had the benefit a bit of the moment. I think 100 Thieves has a shot to win this tournament, don't get me wrong. But on the long run, I don't know if they have the same seeding as other teams. So I see like if Kankan is popping off, EDG can take it, but I don't know. I'm like definitely leaning on to 100 Thieves on this one.
I don't see them as like a definite favorite, but I think if they don't win the first 2 games, I think that would be a bit of a failure on their part.
I have a feeling that Smoggy might be able to like actually put Cryo down.
Smoggy plus Kang, the duo. That is a bit scary to be fair. And Nobody and Chi-Chi, they did look good at champs, but apparently they've gotten worse. I don't know about that. We'll have to see.
I don't agree.
They didn't look worse. It was just like they were like actually doing the right thing. It feels like that they realized when they like got out of champions that like, okay, we've actually been doing a lot of stuff wrong.
Yeah.
And they are trying to implement like the things that they learned at champions during like the FGC event.
Yeah.
That's kind of the vibe that I had with them.
Also, I don't know, like
the LAN.
I think they won all the matches as well in this tournament, and then they lost to FPX, like now FPX in the grand final. But also, like at this point, they didn't even know what they were playing for in terms of like except of prize money. They didn't know that they would qualify or whatever for lock-in. It was just like, okay, we play another best of 5 against the team we played 3 days ago. Now we lose, can happen. Like it's like it's a different vibe. If they would have known like what they play for, maybe they would have gone for more. But at the end of the day, both teams qualified. So
yeah. Something that we can actually real quick talk about is actually also about China, and it's about the teams that have been starting to pop off. And we've seen a lot of orgs who were previously like trying to sign international rosters but never actually went through with it. One of them is Invictus Gaming. Invictus Gaming has tried a lot of times to sign a roster but then back out and all of that. But now China's now it's open and like they could sign a Chinese team and they instantly signed a roster.
Oh wow.
I'm kind of like in like a bad mood about it because like you've had so many talks with these organizations, and the second that China opens up, they just like, oh, let's just pick up some random players that we got in a trial. But like, should be good development, I guess. Other teams that have finalized a roster would be Rare Atom. K1 is back, but as far as I know, that roster is most likely just like Top Esports, just hiding behind like the K1 branding for now. And I believe it's a PUBG organization, for angry men. It's a great name, to be honest. Imagine if you're like at champions and 4 angry men win.
4 angry men.
That would be amazing, to be honest. And Billy has come in. And I believe there's another Douyu is also here. So like it's 2 streaming platforms that are playing in this tournament.
That's interesting.
Okay.
All right.
So it's interesting. And Totoro Gaming is back. A little bit 50-50 on them because like all the like match fixing, that kind of stuff that happened in the past. Let's not talk about that. But yeah, I'm honestly a little bit excited for China for the future.
Me too. 100%.
Sounds good. Got investment.
Yeah. Anyways, I am really good at derailing this stuff. Where were we? All right, Sentinels versus Fnatic. Sentinels.
No. I gotta go with Fnatic. I'm doing a video as well on Fnatic. I don't know. I think just the stakes for each team individually is like, I think Fnatic has more pressure on in terms of like they have to show
more to lose.
Yeah, they have more to lose,
Yeah.
and that's why they are ready. And like also this is a team like they want to show what they've been cooking. Like I don't know. I just have the feeling they're very confident and they want to prove it. Like especially Leo, Chronicle, like they haven't achieved similar things to Fnatic, so they want to prove it even. Okay, I mean Chronicle did, but like I think they have to prove something. They will prove something. And Sentinels is more of like we vibing, and if we take this win, we Gucci, and if not, it's okay. You know, like I don't know. I think
I definitely understand that, but
oh no, the Sentinels.
I feel like when Boaster has more to lose,
yeah, that's true.
That's when it could get scary.
What happened to your camera? I'm seeing your.
Oh yeah, my camera just ran out of battery. Shit.
I'll just
the webcam just automatically switched. All right, never mind. Hello.
You back?
How are you?
Hello.
This is like my very. This is a god
1 FPS.
Look these frames, bro.
This is like a wildlife camera. You know those? Like
it
is. Amazing. Yeah, go on. Comment. Sorry.
Yeah, I think if Boaster starts to feel the pressure, let's say Sentinels win a map or it goes to a map 3, then I feel like it could just start crumbling. But I think it'll be a great series because both teams have incredible individual players. You know, I can see a round where Chronicle gets a 4K, Sassy gets a 3K, the crowd is going crazy. Like Pancada, hits some crazy shot. Like I can see it all happening, and I think Fnatic will take it.
Counter argument.
No, I don't think we have time for a counter.
Second go brr. That's it. That's my.
I mean, okay. Argument. We just leave it like this.
Yeah.
He followed me on Twitter actually, so yeah, true.
Oh,
hey, my man.
Damn.
Right. Okay. Last one. We'll probably talk about the rest another time. The last one we have is T1 versus Furia.
I mean, the crowd was a factor in the matches we've seen. So, but I mean, MIBR couldn't win.
You know who doesn't care? You want to know who doesn't care about crowds or anything?
I don't know. All right. I mean, yeah.
I think the question is, to me, it's like Furia will probably look better than MIBR, and T1 will probably look worse than Talon.
Oh, that's true.
So I think it's very 50-50. Because MIBR and Talon was actually quite close. It was 13-11 last map. So I'm going with a very narrow Furia win, and they also haven't won a map. They haven't won a series at Masters yet, so it'll be nice to see them do it in Brazil.
Yeah,
makes sense. So, but I'm not really confident on Furia. I don't know why. It's always when I look at Furia.
Wait,
at the start,
is the one
Furia
with MW0, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
I'm believing. I'm believing.
They kept they kept the 4 players. T1. Even their roster just looks shambolic.
Yeah.
Like
I love it. I love it, to be honest.
I love it, except Carpe just looks really uncomfortable.
Yeah, he did.
Not a fan of how Ban was performing on the smokes, but other than that, I actually.
Why did they just take cracked Jet players and just put them on smokes?
I mean, the thing is, would you rather have Saya player on Jet or Ban on Jet?
I'd rather they just didn't sign 12 Jet players, to be honest.
Yes.
I mean, Munchkin was a Sentinel for like a year before he got signed, and Zeta, he was.
And Carpe was an excellent Widowmaker.
True. I was actually surprised that they never really fielded him on like the duelist role or something like that, because I feel like he might be a little bit more comfortable. But then again, they also signed Saya player, so you're kind of like, which one do you choose? A proven player, Overwatch player who switched over to Valorant, or a unproven Overwatch player who switched to Valorant?
Yeah, I think Furia have the crowd behind them. They push Fnatic in Istanbul. I think they can do it, and I think QCK. Well, or is it Quick? I think he's changed his tag now to Quick, but it was QCK.
Quick, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's actually very underrated.
The name of a Spanish player.
Really?
And also, like MW0 is an absolute demon. If you look at his all-time VLR stats on Raze, I've never seen such thing. Like if he can pull that off on a LAN,
What's that VLR user who keeps like bringing up MW Sarah's stats?
Bro, he's
something Trembolono or something.
It's not me, but actually his
Oh.
stats are like. Wait, I'm gonna pull them up. Wait,
Trembolo or something. I don't know. Trembolo.
All-time stats.
Yeah.
His
something like
all-time
that.
ACS on race over 119 games is 294. That's almost 300. That's insane. Like, no joke. Like,
That's decent. That's decent.
1.41
But you gotta remember,
KD.
Raze is getting nerfed.
He doesn't care. He's satcheling on your face, right-clicking you with the classic. He doesn't care, man. He's not affected by that. No, but like, in all honesty, I think the team has potential, and also, I think T1 has the higher like talent in the team, but I don't think they're ready. It didn't look like they were ready at the Ludwig tournament. I think with some time, Carper, like a little bit more time to transition, he can be a star player. But right now, I'm not really feeling that confident. But I want to see T1 succeed, but just not right now. I just think it's too early. And yeah, the crowd. And I agree with what Command said, like that Furia will look a little bit better than MIBR. And I don't think that T1 will look better than Talon, because Talon actually looked insane.
Yeah.
I haven't seen enough from Carpe, but I'm kind of feeling like he might be the one who's going to show up.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, maybe, yeah.
I have a vibe.
Oh, God. I think we'll be watching the match and it will be Sire player just doing his best. And
on Neon.
Yeah, and then it would just kind of be the rest of them kind of crumbling around him. Whereas Furia have that structure in place. They've had it for a long time.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Let's go with Furia.
I think they could take it.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So there was a topic we were going to talk about also, but I feel like we might be like skipping those. I feel like we should probably do it a norm to like talk about challengers. Jesus Christ! All right, my camera is very huge. Hello there. Hello,
big dork.
Hi, big dork. What will you do? Like 5 frames, big dork. What will you do?
Oh my God! Now he's a ghost. Oh my God!
It's just
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I think we should do that for another episode.
We should. So I'm probably going to end it off with some challengers information. Ooh,
right.
What is this? There's nothing going on in NA. NA dead. Keck W.
NA dead.
This guy NA dead.
This guy has a Polaris team and he says NA dead. That's crazy.
I mean, okay. Here's my complaint. All right. We have no idea how the marketing is going and everything. I'm really disappointed about how things are going right now.
In Polaris, I take it.
Yeah, in Polaris.
Yeah.
And also, like, the thing is, we have like 6 unsigned teams, and the issue we have now seen is basically like the unsigned teams are just gonna FF matches because 2 of their players got a separate offer. So Human Triple, they have FF their match against Focus today, and Bonk FF their previous match versus Apex.
Wait, aren't Bonk just gonna FF against Hukars then?
No, I am pretty sure they're gonna play.
Oh, that's a shame for you, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, we want another match, so we don't actually care. Like, the thing that really depends on it is just Vominos winning versus HS Deer. So it's actually in other people's hands because we're confident that we could beat Bonk easily. We're not really easily, I would say.
Jinx.
Yeah, I'm kind of sitting there. I know that Kicks is gonna like pop off, so it's probably gonna get close. But also to add something, there is another team that has left Challengers EMEA, which is Heat, and karma on them, to be honest, because they basically tried to buy out a big player. They bought him out and were just in so much debt that they decided to drop him again. So basically,
esports.
The reason why Heat is no more in Valorant is because they tried to buy out a big CS player for the CS roster, which is mid. All right.
Right. Okay. I see.
So yeah.
Wow.
EMEA not going good. I do hope and I do think it's gonna go better.
I think,
but
yeah.
only time will tell.
And I think we've touched on most of the other EMEA regions in the previous episode.
Yeah.
But the one thing that is kind of shaken, that I've seen most people talking about like a lot, is the Japanese challengers.
Oh yeah, something.
This guy is crazy.
I can probably pull it quickly.
What are you talking about? Something what? Like what?
The player dropping
Okay,
100
okay.
kills.
Yeah. I mean, this guy, what was it, 162 kills?
Yeah, I
No,
got it here.
130. 100. He was plus 62 in a best of 5, which they lost.
My guy's
That's just
cracked
weird.
Fortnite. Let's just say that.
Oh my
I
god.
mean,
I mean,
it's in. I mean,
I saw something.
somebody get this guy. Get this guy an ambulance. Like the
Oh
amount of
my
carrying
god.
he's doing. Like holy.
He's
Yeah.
literally smurfing.
I'm pretty sure like he's got like his back just collapsed at this point because
Yeah. Didn't you like both? There was a tweet, right, from Bleed, Godspeed, where he was like saying like something might happen in reply to his stats, and I'm
yeah,
like,
like
oh
the
my!
transfer window is opening up.
Imagine
And
Bleed
I
dropping the
heard-
back on him.
No, not really Bleed. I would actually say a franchise team. I've been hearing that there's some interest for something. But then again, he's a Russian player, so it will be difficult to get him the offset or yeah, just like the transfer window is quite short, so I'm unsure if anybody is like willing to like get a Russian player because it's difficult and it can take months.
And he's
So-
also
Yeah.
he's pretty young, isn't he?
Yeah, and also Sengoku Gaming, they'll probably try to keep him. I wouldn't be surprised. So
I mean, like I think like he's kind of like the Monesi maybe for Valorant right now from the CIS region.
I mean,
like,
he is a bit old, so I wouldn't
isn't
really.
he? I think he's maximum 18. I'm pretty sure. I was watching his streams before he was like going to Sengoku, and I like think it always said like I'm 70-year-old.
21.
Sure.
So he's a bit older.
Okay.
So I can't really
Alright.
call him the Monesi. I would more.
No,
call
then I
it-
agree. I was thinking he was like maximum 18, but still like
Yeah.
he's
I mean,
cracked out of his
the
mind.
the two players that I think are gonna be like the Monesi equivalent is
Oh, yeah,
definitely
21, true.
between I would say yeah, Zekken is kind of but
maybe.
also in EMEA there's Killy Carslan and there is
true.
also Kix. Those two kids are like absolutely popping off and
Yeah.
they've got insane stats. So
But yeah, that was my bad. I thought he was 17 for whatever reason, but yeah.
yeah,
21.
okay.
But I mean, still a very cracked out player, duelist player who's like always having like some crazy highlights, and I was like, damn, this guy's cracked, and now he's proven it in the tier 2 scene in Japan. So yeah, would be nice to see him on a like actual franchise team or tier 1 team. Generally, would be cool.
I think like you just one of the EMEA teams just sign him now, and then like as long as it
Yeah.
takes the visa to go through, like it should be done by at least like
Yeah.
champions or something like that. And I'm not saying you just sub him in for champions, but you know, hopefully maybe you get him for that second international league split or oh wait, no, there's only one this year, isn't there? Is there? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see if it does come through.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
All right.
but
yeah.
yeah, I believe that's about it. What we could offer
Yeah.
for today. This episode was a little bit shorter because we also dropped an episode like in the weekend. So
Yeah, like
it was kind of
4 days ago. Yeah. So
yeah. So like we didn't think that like a long episode would be good. So but yeah,
Yeah.
every Tuesday there'll probably be longer episodes because
Yeah.
I could go rambling on and on.
yeah, but I think that
we
was a
know.
fine,
No,
a
joking.
good episode. I think that's a good
Yeah.
episode, good length. And like next weekend on Tuesday, we're gonna have a lot to discuss. Our mega bracket will be concluded as. Am I right?
Yeah, it will. It will. Yeah.
So yeah.
Amazing. Can't wait. Not wait for this one. Yeah. All right.
All right. So thank
All
you
right,
guys for
brilliant.
watching this
Yeah.
episode
And listening.
Subscribe to the
listening,
channel
yes.
because if you want
Yeah.
timestamps,
1,000 subscribers.
We need 1,000
I mean,
subscribers.
I did see some timestamps coming up.
They're not on the like on the bar of the video.
Oh
though.
yeah, okay. Yeah.
So that's what we're
So,
going for. But
yeah.
yeah, subscribe to the channel. We hope you
Yes.
enjoyed the episode, and we'll see you next week.
Bye bye.
Why?
Goodbye.